All right, you need to ask Mrs. Mullen for this sheet of paper if you haven't already done so. That way you don't have to write everything down. So in order to run a linear regression, first of all, you're going to open Desmos, and then you're going to type your table in. So you should be given a table or some type of X, Y coordinate points, usually a table, but you need to type them into Desmos. If it gives you a table, remember that Desmos has that table button. And the kind of the top, I'll show you in a minute, but in the top left side, there's a little plus sign, and then there's those options that drop down. One of them is a table. So first thing is type in a table. Then in Desmos, in line 2, so underneath your table, you are going to type Y1, so this is a 1, and you're literally just going to hit Y and then the number 1, and it will automatically make it down below. And then the tilde sign, which is this squiggly, which is next to the number 1, you'll have to hit Shift and then that button on your computer. And then MX1. Once again, you'll do M and then X and then the number 1, and it will automatically make it lower. And then plus B. So this is slope-intercept form, but to run a regression, you're going to have this X1 and Y1, and I'll show you when we get to Desmos why we need those. And then we want this, which basically is like an approximation. Instead of an equal sign, it's going to be some type of an approximation. Now, once you've done these 2 steps, you aren't going to just get an equation. It's going to give you some information. These are the 3 pieces that we care about. It's going to tell you what R, M, and B are. R, we just learned, is your correlation coefficient. That will tell you if we've got a strong or a weak, a positive or a negative. It will tell us the type of relationship we have. M, you should remember, is the slope, and B is, of course, your y-intercept. You will then use those pieces of information as needed to create your equation, in which case you would use these 2. Or if it asks you about your correlation coefficient, if it asks you to talk about the relationship, you would use your R value. So we're going to run a regression. So we're going to use this value of this table of values. So you're going to open up Desmos. And we need to type in our table. So that was step number 1, is type the table. So where this plus sign is, kind of top left, where it says add item. And then I'm going to click the table. I'm going to type in my X and Y values. So X's are all just 1 through 7. And then type in your Y values. We have 3, 7, 9, 8, 12, 15, and 13. Get all those typed in there. Now, your graph probably looks more like this. What you do not want to do is just zoom out. Don't do that. What you want to do is move your graph so that you can see it better. Or you can come to your wrench and say, well, the smallest number I need to see is 1, so I'm going to do something smaller, so 0. The largest X is 7, so I'm going to do something bigger, which like 10. My smallest Y value is 3, so something smaller like 0. And my largest is 15. So anything bigger than that, so like 20. Okay? So the 2 options, move your graph or change your wrench based on the numbers in your table. Okay? Now, the next thing it says is run a linear regression. So in order to do that, in line 2, we are going to type Y1 tilde MX1 plus B. So down here in line 2, I'm going to type Y, and then I'm just going to hit the number 1 and see how it comes down here below. Then I'm going to do my tilde, which is next to the number 1. Shift that button. If you can't find it, ask Mrs. Mullen. M, X, the number 1 plus b. And all this stuff pops up. Now, first, I want to talk about why we need these ones right here. The reason is it's taking it from the table. Look how this says x1 and this says x1 and this says y1 and this says y1. If I change these in the table to say 2, now we've got this issue down here. See how this changed? What is this? I don't know. What's going on? We don't know. It doesn't know what to do because it's not using it from the table. So if these are both 2s, then down here instead of 1s, I would have typed in 2s. Okay, that's where those numbers came from. So just be aware and pay attention to that. Typically, you're going to type in 1s for that because you're going to have the first table. All right, now, even though mine might be different here, my information should be the same because my table is the same as yours. We care about R, M, and B. Those are the only ones we care about. We do not care R squared, and we do not care about E1. R, M, and B. It asks you what the correlation coefficient is. R is your correlation coefficient. So that is 0.9273. Or I would be okay with you rounding it to 2 decimal places and saying 0.93 because this 7 rounds this 2 up. So you either have 0.9273 or 0.93, which tells you that this is strong because it's close to 1 and positive because it is literally positive. Oh, that should go down here. That should go down here, number 2. What is the slope? Well, slope is m. M is 1.75. So what is the slope? 1.75. What is your y-intercept? Our y-intercept is b. We're going to say 2.57. We're going to round that to 2 decimal places. 2.57. This 7 does not round up because this is a 1 after. So 2.57. That's all it takes to run the regression and to do that information. Now the next part says to write the equation of your line of best fit. So y equals mx plus b. So y equals, m is your slope, which is 1.75, x plus b, which is my y-intercept, which is 2.57. There's your equation using this information. Okay, so to run a regression, type your table, y1 tilde mx1 plus b. R is your correlation coefficient, m is the slope, b is the y-intercept. You'll use that to answer any questions that you need. Any of the other questions will come from those 3 pieces of information. Okay?